paralegal at a big commercial firm while he was studying. She earned significantly more in her chosen part-time job. He asked whether she was concerned about how this job might affect her legal career. Her back was turned to him, and she looked over her shoulder, wide brown eyes mocking him. What difference does it make? Your face could also be photoshopped onto deepfake porn if you ever became important enough to, cancel. He laughed as if the suggestion were absurd, as if he did not, in fact, aspire to become somebody worthy of cancellation, or at the very least, somebody with a Wikipedia page. Eleanor pushed her sunglasses onto her forehead and said, "Do we have to talk about this now? I have to be back in 20 minutes. Obviously, I hated it, and I knew it was wrong." "It's not wrong." "What?" Eleanor sighed and speared a slice of salmon sashimi with a single chopstick. She didn't put it in her mouth. "I'm not mad at you because I think strip clubs are wrong. Clearly they're not. And I respect the women who trade their bodies and their skill for money. It's no different from the way I trade my intellect and time." Mark raised his eyebrows on intellect, reproaching Eleanor for being so judgmental, as if that wasn't exactly what he was doing when he looked at her that way. This expression was familiar to Eleanor, eyebrows up and gaze down, and out the corner of his wire-framed glasses, away from confrontation. A little performance of self-control, like Mark was too decent or considerate or simply powerless to voice whatever criticism he had formulated. Usually she'd beg him to tell her, "What? What is it?" so that by the time he voiced his judgment, she felt the extra shame of having extracted it. Today, she was multiple steps ahead. She rebutted him before he could speak. After 2 monogamous years, they had achieved the level of love and intimacy where mere facial expressions invite lengthy counter-arguments. "And don't think," Eleanor said, "I'm suggesting that selling my intellect is any more empowering than selling physical talents. In fact, it's probably a lot less, given that our time on this planet is finite, and what my employers take from me overwhelmingly is time." She paused, looking at her notification on her Apple Watch, then continued, "It's just, God, I don't know how to put this in a way that won't seriously upset you." "Go on." "It's just pathetic, Mark. I find the customers, male customers, pathetic. It's very sad that you're paying to leer at women so you can feel some kind of power over them. And it's all the more pathetic because, guys sitting in a dark room with stiffies have no power at all." "It was quite well lit, actually." He waved a hand. "Theatrical." Eleanor's face was a vacuum. It sucked the laughter, first from his smile, then right out of his chest. A man threw an empty plastic sushi container at the bin with one hand and flicked the lid up with the other. The timing was all wrong. The container landed open at Mark's feet. The man had already turned, exhibiting that city centre impatience which says more about how highly a person regards themselves than how many appointments they have to keep. Mark put the dripping container on the tabletop. He looked at his hands, slick with soy sauce. When he looked up, Eleanor was holding out her napkin like an accusation. He wiped his hands on the napkin, then scrunched it into a ball. Eleanor broke the silence. "Please don't make me feel guilty for saying that. I don't want you to build this up into some political stance of mine. I just think it's a fucking lame way to spend a Saturday night." Mark's fist tightened around the napkin. He could tell from her sharp intake of breath that Eleanor had already formulated the next thing she would say. When she opened her mouth, he cut in. "I got with someone." "What?" Mark didn't say anything. From her furious, combative gaze, he knew she had heard him perfectly. And hearing it, she understood how difficult it was to say aloud. So, her stare squeezed him and demanded he repeat himself. That she was entitled to make demands of him, given what he'd done, only intensified his reluctance. He heard himself swallow. "On Saturday night, after, Eleanor's gaze was merciless. "After the strip club, I I didn't actually, but I almost slept with someone." Eleanor laughed. Mark recognized the sound, but found her face newly twisted with it. "How?" They only stayed at the club for an hour. Mark spent much of his time in the bathroom. When he left, it was with a drunken tread, all purpose and no direction.